July 10. 70. Conflagration of the Second Temple of the Jews, in the night following the 9th day of Lusab, the 2nd year of Vespasian. 138. Publius Louis Adrian, Emperor of Rome, died. He was a renowned general and great traveler, and on a visit to Britain built the British Wall, extending from Newcastle to Carlisle, 80 miles in length. 983. Pope Benedict VII died. 1024. Benedict VIII, Pope, died. To the arts of the politician he added the valor of the warrior, and exterminated the Saracens who invaded Italy. He also defeated the Greeks, who were ravaging Apulia. 1212. Burning of London Bridge, when 3,000 persons inhabiting that borough perished in the flames. 1440. An anniversary was held in Harlem for 2 days, commemorating the invention of printing on movable wooden types in this year, by Lawrence Coster. On his monument are a branch of beech, a winged ape, a wreathed snake, and a lamp. It was also celebrated by the printers of Dordrecht and Rotterdam. 1460. Battle of Northampton, England. The forces of Henry VI defeated by Earls Warwick, Salisbury and March, with great slaughter among the gentry and nobility on both sides, and Henry was taken prisoner. 1472. The siege of Beauvais, France, raised by Charles the Bold, Duke of Burgundy, who had invested it with an army of 80,000 men. On this day, in memory of the heroine Jean Hachette, and her regiment of women, who signalized themselves at this famous siege. 1559. Henry II, of France, died. He was a persecutor of the Protestants, and during the 13 years of his reign, much embroiled in war. He recovered Calais from the English, and was wounded at a tournament, of which he died. See June 26, 1574. 29, 1559. 1579. William Whittingham, Dean of Durham, died. He was one of the translators of the Genvan or German Bible, usually called the Breeches Bible. 1584. William I, Prince of Orange, assassinated. He is styled the father of the Dutch Republic, having brought about the union of the provinces. He was shot in the breast with 3 balls by an assassin supposed to have been employed by the King of Spain, who claimed the sovereignty of the Netherlands. 1634. De Vries sailed from the Texel in the ship King David, 14 guns, with 25 head of cattle, and 30 planters, intending to form a colony on the coast of Guyana. 1680. Louis Moreri, a learned French writer, died, aged 37. Author of the Great Historical Dictionary, which appeared 1674, and was afterwards enlarged to 10 volumes. Folio, and greatly improved in the numerous editions it underwent. 1683. Francis Eudes de Mézeray, a French historian, died. He entered upon the laborious character of historian of France at the age of 26, and his work was received with universal applause. Several other books were also published by him, reflecting great honor upon his integrity, candor and faithfulness. 1686. John Fell, an English prelate, died. During the Civil War he bore arms for the king, and lost his offices by his loyalty. He was distinguished for learning and assiduity, and published many excellent works. 1688. The city of Smyrna in Asia destroyed by an earthquake. 1689. Here layeth the body of Mr. David Gardner, of Gardner Island, deceased Igly 10, 1689, in the 54th year of his age. Well, sick, dead, in 1 hours. Space. Hartford, Conn. He was the first white child born in Connecticut. 1704. The fortress of Gibraltar in Spain taken by the British. 1733. Nearly 800,000 quarters of grain exported from England to Portugal. Cost, £1 million. 1767. Alexander Monro, a Scottish physician, anatomist and writer, died. His osteology has been translated into several languages. 1776. New York declared an independent state. 1777. Major General Prescott, commander of the British Army at Newport, surprised at night in his quarters, and carried off by a party of 40 Americans. 1780. French fleet under Admiral Tournay arrived at Rhode Island, having on board 6,000 French troops under Count Rochambeau, intended for the American service. 1791. Battle of Mechlin. A body of 70,000 Turks under the Grand Vizier, defeated by the Russians. The Turks lost 4,000 killed, and the whole of their camp. 30 cannon and 15 standards were taken. The flower of the Asiatic troops, with their chiefs, were in this battle. 1792. Chaubenon, a French dramatist and translator, died. His best works belong to a species of criticism which is characterized by learning and taste. 1794. Battle in India between the British Army and the Hindus under Vizier Imraz, Raja of Vizagapatam. The Raja and most of his officers were killed. British. Lost 10 killed, 50 wounded. 1796. Island of Elba seized by the English under Duncan and Lord Nelson. 1799. The French under Lagrange surprised the Mamelukes at Sababeer, in Egypt, took their baggage, 50 horses and 700 camels. 1799. Action between American ship Planter, Captain Watts, 18 guns and 43 men, and a French privateer of 22 guns, which was beaten off after an action of 5 glasses. 2 female passengers, Mrs. McDowell and Miss Mary Harley, dressed the wounded and supplied cartridges. The Planter had 4 killed, 8 wounded. 1804. Francis Ambrose D. A learned and ingenious French printer, died. He made some important improvements in the printing press and paper mill, and is supposed to have hastened his death by a too close application to the revision of an edition of Montaigne's works. 1810. Ciudad Rodrigo surrendered to the French under Massena, with a garrison of 6,000, after having been bombarded 25 days, a great quantity of artillery, ammunition, and rich stores were taken. This fortress was built by the Spanish as a rampart against Portugal, from which it is distant only 8 miles. See January 19. 1810. Holland incorporated with the French Empire, by which all the 17 provinces of the Netherlands were united under the dominion of Napoleon. 1826. Luther Martin, an eminent lawyer and one of the delegates from Maryland in forming the Constitution of the United States, died, aged 82. 1828. Louis-Augustin Guillaume Buste, a well-known French naturalist and professor at the Jardin du Roi, died. 1834. Abolition riots in New York. 1850. James Lovell, oldest member of the Society of the Cincinnati, died at St. Matthews, South Carolina, aged 92. 1852. A fire in Boston destroyed the Mariners' Church, the Sailors' Home, the Boylston Schoolhouse, and many dwellings and stores. 1855. The British bombarded the Redan Tower at Sebastopol for one day. 1856. John Locke, an American physician and naturalist, died at Cincinnati, aged 64. He was a native of Maine, but spent a considerable portion of his life in Cincinnati, was connected with the Geological Survey of the state, and of Lake Superior, and seems to have had a knowledge of various other sciences.